Y'all, we've got a long way to go.
Ain't it fun living in the real world? Ain't it good being all alone?
Hey double majors, welcome back to my channel. What's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppington? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Brelynn. I am a 28-year-old post-grad pre-med, and this is my Becoming Dr. Brelynn journey. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell the way you don't miss a notification from me, and follow me on my social media at brelynn.hunt. Today is the day. I'm so nervous. I'm taking my first practice exam. Those of you all who are unfamiliar, I'm currently in my MCAT studying season. This is my 4th time studying for the exam, but I am documenting this because there are actually a lot more people than you would think that are reapplicants to medical school or who have really struggled to get a high MCAT score, a competitive MCAT score, in order for them to ultimately matriculate and get accepted into medical school. So I don't want to feel alone during my journey. I don't want to feel less than or not smart, because I know that I am capable, I know that I am smart, I know that I am worthy, and so are you. So yes, this is my 4th time studying for the MCAT, but I'm trying to learn from my previous mistakes. That way this next time can be the last time. I actually have been studying for about 3 weeks now. This will be my 3rd full week studying for the MCAT, but I did not start off taking a diagnostic test. One, because I felt like I had not looked at the information in a long time. The last time I took the MCAT was in January of 2023, and then I graduated from my master's program in May of 2023. So I haven't looked at any books or any MCAT material in about 2 years. So I didn't just want to hop right in taking the diagnostic without kind of refreshing my mind. I also wasn't sure what resources I was going to use to take my full-length exam. I actually didn't plan on putting off my diagnostic exam this late, but ended up having some amazing changes to my MCAT study resources, which I'll talk about in another video. So now finally today I have the resources and I'm ready to take my diagnostic test. I do feel like there's a little bit more pressure since I have been studying, because I feel like I want my score to be at least what I got the last time I was on the MCAT, if not better. I remember the last time I studied for the MCAT, when I took my diagnostic exam score I think was like 4 points higher than what I got on the MCAT 2 or 3 years before that. So I felt really good, like I could definitely make an improvement. But at that time I was fully engulfed in my master's program. I was waking up early, I was studying every day, I was taking classes in biochemistry, neuroscience, physiology, so things that were actually going to help me on the exam. Like I said, this time it's been a long time since I've looked at this information. For the past couple of weeks when I've been studying, it's been really frustrating because I'm like, oh, I know this information, I've seen this before. But then when I do practice passages, I'm reminded of how difficult it is to find the information that you need in the passages and then apply that information to the questions. And that's just me doing 5 to 20 question practice quizzes. Today we're also going to add on the endurance part of the exam. Together the exam is 7.5 hours. I know I have a lot of double majors who are not pre-med girlies. This one is for you, because this channel is for anyone who is beauty and brains, which just means that we are multifaceted human beings. Anyway, there are 4 sections to the exam. There is the chemistry and physics section, there is the critical analysis and reasoning section, then there is the biology physiology and biochemistry section, and then the psychology and sociology section. Each section is 90 minutes. I believe there are 59 questions per section. I don't remember the details of it, to be honest with you. We about to find out, because after I eat my breakfast, we're gonna sit down and take a mock exam. For the most part, I'm trying to simulate things like a real test day. I decided that I'm gonna take it here in my apartment at my home desk. That way I don't have to worry about things being loud, people moving around, or anything being uncomfortable. Again, I've also taken the MCAT now 3 times, so I do kind of know what my morning routine looks like. Normally, when I would do these practice exams, I would drink a Celsius, but then on the actual exam day, I will be so nervous and full with adrenaline that I actually don't need that much caffeine. So today I decided to make a latte. I did meal prep my breakfast hash this week, so that is what I'm eating for breakfast, along with some boiled eggs. And you guys can see I'm in the most comfortable sweats ever, because it's definitely something that I would possibly wear to the exam. Although somehow I find myself on Reddit, which I really try and stay off of, and I heard somebody say that you're not allowed to wear hoodies, which I'm not sure is true. I know the first time I wore a zip up, but it had a hoodie. The second time I wore a crew neck. Either way, this thing is really hot, but my desk is also by the window, and I normally have a blanket on and my heater going on, and I don't want to have those on during the exam because I won't have them during the actual exam. So I definitely feel like this will keep me warm by the window. I think that's it. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm gonna talk to you guys in between each section, and at the end I'll do a recap and let you guys know my thoughts. It's been a long time. I've definitely been procrastinating this. I don't look forward to it, but the only way to it is through it. I've prayed and spent time with God this morning. I'm gonna fuel my body, get my mind right, and take our first practice exam of this MCAT season. Optional 10-minute break. All right, I'm going to use the bathroom, have a little bit of a snack. If I have enough time, I'll recoup. But just initial thoughts. When you have some time away from the exam and you realize that this exam is really what's keeping you from getting into medical school, living out your dreams, like walking in your purpose, you're like, this exam is not that hard. Like, it's hard, but if I really put in the work, like, I can do it. I am smart enough, like, and then you take the exam, and then I just feel like in this moment I've realized, oh, this is the reason why I was so afraid of the MCAT the entire time. Like, this is the reason why I feel so dumb every time I study for the MCAT, and these are why my results look the way that they do. Like, I don't understand how I can have all these degrees, have gone to school for so many years, study so much, and then get to this exam and feel like I know nothing, feel like I have never seen this information a day before in my life. I feel like I definitely haven't studied any of the things that were, at least in this section, chemistry, physics. This is always like the hardest section for me, because I just feel like there's just so many things. Like, there were circuits, there were fluids, there were, organic chemistry. So much of it, I feel like I kind of just like brush past it and like try and pretend like it doesn't exist, especially in undergrad. And then it's always like the most difficult part of the studying for MCAT, and so I always try and like get down my basics, and I feel like I never get to it, and so I never master it, and so I can't answer the questions quickly. I definitely ran out of time. I was taking way too much time in the beginning. I literally was like about to cry in the beginning of this section. Like, I don't know this stuff. There's no way I'm going to score well on this. And I was just so frustrated just because it just wasn't going well. At the end, I started to see some things that I was more familiar with, but by that point I had to move quickly. So I don't feel like it wasn't a good section. It wasn't a good section by far. My little pin, like, I knew that I should have been doing, like, there were so many things. Like, I haven't been practicing with like timing, and so I didn't even remember like how much time am I supposed to give myself per passage. I was like, how many questions do I have left? Like my timing was completely off. I still have my stuff from the last time I studied, but my pen is dead, so I couldn't even write down half of my stuff. I couldn't even remember like the formulas that I should have been using, which is a big thing for chem phys. And it's so weird because chem phys is normally one of the sections that I score the lowest on, but between my last 2 MCAT attempts, I increased my score, so I want to increase it again, but I'm like, I don't know how I increased it because I never feel good about chem phys. It actually confuses me as to why my biochem section is so low, because I have degrees in biology and physiology and I normally recognize what's going on, but for some reason I just like get the answers wrong. But for chem phys, like majority of the section I just be guessing. Anyway, I've got 6 minutes left. I'm really thirsty. I'm gonna have a like little yogurt for a snack, and like I said, I have to use the bathroom. Next we have cars. I have been practicing cars every day, and honestly my scores in the sections have been going up and down. Sometimes I can get a perfect section, and a lot of times I get a lot of questions wrong. I'm like thinking that maybe I'm overthinking, and also I'm taking so much time because I haven't been timing myself in order to get my accuracy up, that maybe I'm using the time to overthink. And I also, again, endurance, I haven't taken a full cars section yet, so I'm very curious to know the accuracy decrease as the number of passages increases. I decompressed. Let me take a break and then we'll be back for section 2. I didn't really have enough time for a snack. Note to self, I should have remembered that drinking a coffee in the morning instead of a Celsius would make me have to use the bathroom a lot faster, so I won't be doing that in the future. Also, I need to drink some electrolyte in my water the day before as well as the morning of. I'm the type of person where I drink water all throughout the day, and so to have to go even just 90 minutes without taking a sip of your water, especially like when you're studying, you're drinking water constantly, it's a hard habit to break. Okay, I've got 1 minute. I'm gonna take a moment to recollect my mind. New section, new opportunity. 5 seconds left. Let's do this. I'm so tired. So I ran out of time. I had, I think, maybe like 7 minutes to complete the last 3 passages. I haven't been practicing, like I said, with my time, so I knew that I needed to move faster, but I'm just not in the habit of it. I'm tired. I'm tired of looking at a screen. I'm tired. I felt like the passages were a lot longer. I feel like it took me so much longer to read through the passages. View World and Kaplan and even like Jack Weston, I feel like it took me like 6 minutes to read a passage when normally I can get through it in 4 minutes. I also felt like I kept being stuck between 2 answer choices, and it would just frustrate me because it wouldn't be, I don't know. I don't feel good about it, especially because I basically had to guess on the last 3 passages. So it's like my average, I don't even know. But it's lunchtime, and we're gonna have a screen-free lunchtime because we won't be able to be on our phone during the exam. Won't be able to scroll. You just have to sit with your thoughts. I normally would get a Subway sandwich, but again, I remember one time I was too nervous to eat my lunch. Another time, I think the last time I ate my lunch, I ended up having like the bubble guts during the last section. Ciao. Well, we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do for lunch this time. But for today, I'm just gonna eat a salad. So I'm gonna eat and then stare into the abyss of nothingness for the remaining 28 minutes that I have. I'll come back for the biochem section, which usually the section I do the worst in, surprisingly. And I really want to do better in this time around. And I also feel like I've done more studying in the biochem section than I have in the chem phys section. So I expect to feel better. Even if I don't perform better than normal, I expect to feel better taking the biochem section than I did taking the chem phys section. All right, let's eat lunch. Okay, I've got pen and paper because we'll talk about it later. I need some lip gloss. I just feel like my endurance isn't there enough to be able to just like hop back in. Break is officially over, so let's lock back in and take our biochem section. See y'all in 90 minutes. Okay, biochem section done. I don't feel too bad about that. We're gonna talk about it later. I wrote down my thoughts. I've got a 10-minute break. I have to use the bathroom and I'm gonna stretch my legs. The second half is always better than the first half. Like those two in the beginning, they really, and then I have my thoughts. I've mentioned it before, but the last 2 times I took the MCAT, I scored the same thing on my psychology section, which is always my highest section, and I always say it's the easiest section, but my score doesn't give it I think that it's easy. It gives it I think that I'm comfortable. So I'm really trying to improve my psychology score, and I think that because I'm like so relaxed, and also that because I'm fatigued, I kind of don't push myself enough to really make sure that I am answering each question to the best of my abilities. Of course, not like consciously, but like subconsciously. I think I'm so tired and I'm like, I got this. You do well in this section. I need to have confidence, but also like discipline. I don't really know. The plan is to take that mindset into consideration when doing this section. So I'm going to take a quick break and then come back and we'll finish out this section and we'll finally be done. But we can't think about the finish line. We have one more section. This is the section we're going to score the highest on. We're going to do the best. I'm going to have the best psych soc score I've ever had yet today. 3 minutes until psych soc section. I also wanted to mention for my future self that I felt a little sick during that last section, like health wise. I can't tell what it is. I kind of felt like maybe I drank the electrolyte water too fast, or I kind of felt like sometimes coffee makes me feel weird. I'm not sure, but I definitely didn't feel like 100%. And I also had to use the bathroom. So I've had to use the bathroom for 2 sections now. So I definitely have to figure out my food and liquid intake. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I kind of feel like I feel nauseous. Wow, why was that so hard? I feel kind of nauseous. And I'm not sure if it's, again, it could be a combination of my nerves. Normally anxiety does kind of manifest for me and like this stomach butterfly, like constant butterfly feeling in my stomach, that therefore, like I said before, makes it hard for me to eat or like have an appetite. It usually goes away during the section, and I felt good about the section. Not great. Let me not, but you know what I'm saying. It wasn't like chem phys where I was literally about to cry and break down. So I shouldn't have been having, for lack of better terms, a panic attack to where my stomach was doing what it was doing. I don't know. I'll have to take some things into consideration because I'm not sure if that was physiological or like health or psychology. Who knows? Last section. Also, my hand is cramping trying to use the shortcut on my keyboard, which I always do, but I just feel like my hands are cramping today. Like my little pinky feels weird. It's like these little things, like random little things like this that impact you. But okay, last section, let's lock in. Okay, I ended the psych soc section with about 10 minutes to spare. I really took my time and I even zoned out for a few moments. My heart is beating so fast. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm literally shaking. I'm so nervous. Literally, as soon as I got to like that last question and I realized it was question 59, my heart started beating so fast. I'm like so nervous, but it's okay. It's literally a practice exam. It's okay. It does not determine how far I can go. Okay, for reference, I'm not going to share my score just because I feel like sometimes it can get a little, You don't need to know my score. I've never been one to share my numbers and scores. I feel like it defeats the purpose and makes people focus too much on things. So like, don't ask me what my score was. Okay, here we go. No way. No. That's so bad. Oh. That's not good. That's not good. That's not a good starting place. Oh no. Okay, that's not what I wanted at all. I scored lower than my last 2 MCAT attempts, which is like horrible. I hope that I at least did better. I mean, I guess technically, I think I did better in the psych section than I did last time. Okay, I'm going to take a moment and collect myself. Hopefully I can cry because I be having trouble crying sometimes when stuff is not good and it just be all bundled up, and I really need to release and let it go because this is not good. I'm not going to let it like, I just have work to do. I came from a season of not studying and not seeing this stuff. And so now I have to build up to where I was and then go further. I'm not starting at where I ended, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Okay, I'm going to take a moment. We're going to recap and then we're going to review the exam, but not all today. Don't really want to talk about it because it's sad. Like, I'm so sad that that's the results. Like, that's where we have to start off at, but it is what it is. I have some notes. I feel like I gave you guys all of my first impressions when taking the exam, and I feel like those are probably the best representation of my feelings, where I'm disappointed and I'm also kind of shocked back into, again, how difficult the MCAT is. Like, I know it sounds stupid because I procrastinated taking it over. I've taken it multiple times, studied multiple times. I wish it was different. I wish I was starting off, like I said, at the same place or better than before. I wish that I felt like time wasn't going to be an issue, but I feel like I'm either gonna have to make a sac. But the problem is, the idea of taking this exam at the end of March literally sounds like crazy. It does not feel like there's any possibility that I will be ready in time. Before I freak out, I'm just gonna try and be consistent using Kaplan for the next couple of weeks and see if that makes a difference. I guess what also makes it really upsetting is that I've really been disciplined. Like I talked about in my video last week, I feel like switching over from studying with Khan Academy to studying with Kaplan made me feel like the first 2.5 weeks of studying pointless and a waste of time, and I really don't want to even think about if I possibly wasted any time during this study season. One of the things that I wrote down during my break and even while taking the test so that I could remember was that I need to practice free points. I remember Tara and Hunter talking about free points when it comes to things that they could do in order to win gold at the Olympics and the Paralympics. Things like going to bed on time, eating clean, obviously like showing up to the workouts and stuff. And I feel like I'm doing all of the things in regards to studying every day and doing practice problems and stuff like that. I do need to get better at my Anki, but I feel like some of the free points for test taking strategies that I can work on in order to make sure that they don't end up taking away points during my practice exams and my final exams. A, my endurance. I really need to do more full length sections, and B, timing under pressure. I really need to do more time blocks. I also need to calculate or remember what my time block goals are and actually practice to those. 9 CARS passages, and there are 59 questions, and there are 90 minutes. That means that you need to spend, 10 minutes per passage, which means you can spend 5 minutes per, like, I really need to get down to the nitty gritty and really practice it, because I feel like doing I'll do 3 CARS passages in the morning time, but I'm taking 45 minutes to do 3 passages. Like, that's not how it actually is on the exam. On the exam, you only have but so much time, and I ran out of time in almost all of my sections except for the psychology, sociology section. And I definitely feel like, especially when I go back for the last 2 passages for the CAR section, that I literally that brought down my entire average, and the passages weren't even that hard. I'm not a fan of skipping around and doing the easiest passages first, because I feel like I will get confused and maybe forget to go back. I don't really like that, but I definitely do need to leave enough time for each passage, because I feel like my average would have been better, obviously, if I was able to finish the last 2 passages with enough time. And that really just goes for all of the sections. I also need to look up, please comment down below if you guys did this or if you are familiar with, like, I would love to watch a YouTube video of somebody showing how they did their formula sheet. I remember seeing how during the first 10 minutes of your MCAT, they have this thing called a tutorial, and people take that 10 minutes to write down a formula sheet of kind of like all these different formulas that they can remember for the chem phys section, which is the first section after that tutorial. And I've never done that before. I definitely have like some formulas that I have on the top of my mind. I'm really going to work on memorizing more formulas this time, but I would love to kind of find a formula sheet and everyday practice writing down all of the formulas within the first 10 minutes. That way, when it's time for me to take my exam, I can go back to the formula sheet instead of trying to pull them from memory. Although when I did my practice review, I didn't feel like there were that many questions that required like that many formulas. Like, I probably needed to know maybe 4 if not 5 formulas, like literally. And a lot of them you really just need to know like how they derive. Like the V equals IR, like that formula was used 3 different ways, and sometimes they didn't ask you about that specific formula, but they would ask you about the concept of that formula. So if you understood the formula, you would understand the concept of the question, but if you didn't even know the formula, you wouldn't even understand like, why are they asking me this question? And that's just, again, this one exam. Another exam, it could be the same way, but for 3 different formulas. So I definitely want to get my formulas down, and I feel like I should start that now. That way I can practice that, again, that 10 minutes every single day leading up to my exam. So if you have any tips for what should be on your formula sheet, or again, if there's somebody who like literally has it already written down, everything that you need to know in one formula sheet that you can write down in 10 minutes, let me know. Comment it down below or DM me, please. Also, another question that I have is, I was struggling with a lot of eye strain. I don't really wear my blue light glasses when I am looking at my computer for a long time, but I don't know what the rules are since I don't technically wear glasses. But if I wore glasses to my exam, they would just think that they were regular glasses, right? So comment down below and let me know, can I wear blue light glasses for my exam? And if so, what do they make you do different for glasses? Because I don't actually wear glasses, so I don't know what they do. Like, for example, I know that you're not allowed to wear jewelry. I don't think you're allowed to wear, like I said, wear a hoodie. So the problem with taking these practice exams, especially when you're still in the beginning of your studying and you don't know all the information, is that you have to hope that what you have studied is going to be on the exam. Very clearly, a lot of what I studied was not on the exam, except for I feel like in the biochem section, which is why I'm kind of disappointed that my score was as low as it was. But again, when I do the review for that section, I'm going to go back and see, is that actually the case, or do I just, again, feel like this stuff is familiar, but I actually haven't studied it, or I don't actually know it as well as I thought I did. Like, I don't know the right information. Like, I could be committing the wrong information to memory and therefore applying it incorrectly. So we'll have to see when I review that section of the exam. But yeah, I feel like I was not tested at all on what I was studying, which makes it frustrating, because let's just say I took a whole practice exam based off what I studied for the past 3 weeks, and then I got a 70% on that. then I would feel like, okay, I can equate that score to how well I have or have not studied and retained and am able to apply that information. But because I feel like I was tested on things that I really didn't study, it's hard because I'm like, well, is what I'm doing working or is it not working? Like, not only do I feel like I didn't know the information, but I also didn't really have my, again, test taking strategies in place. And so I feel like it was just like overall bad. And I don't feel like it's a true representation of, you know, what I could do, but also how else will I be able to prove what I can do? It's just, it's so frustrating. There were a lot of questions that I was completely unsure of. So they were just like entire guesses, or I would switch my answer, and I noticed that literally I would be between two answers and I would choose the wrong answer every time. And I don't always switch my answers. I think this time I was just very unsure. And so honestly, sometimes it would be wrong and the right answer would be the one that was left, and other times I would be right, but I knew that I didn't know what I was talking about, or I spent way too long on the question and I knew that I was choosing between another answer for way too long for it to be wrong. So I definitely can tell, again, that I'm not strong with my content, because it's not even just a matter of timing or applying. It's like I really guessed on a lot of questions, which I just don't want to do, you know? You can't not know a topic because you have like maybe 10 questions, 8 to 10 questions that you can get wrong out of like 60, which means you could probably like know something right, maybe do a calculation wrong or misinterpret a question or run out of time, and that could be 10 questions on its own. So you really have to know everything that you are studying. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you think about the odds or just the ratios of it, I don't like that I was so unsure with so many questions. Also, comment down below. There was this thing at the top right hand corner where it was like the default color scheme, or you could change it to either like basically be dark or like a salmon color. And I was like, is that new? I swear they did not have that when I took the exam before. I would like somebody to confirm that for me, because I don't want to practice it in dark mode and then you actually can't take your test in dark mode. But I do feel like dark mode would maybe help me out with my eyes, but I want to practice the way I'm actually going to take it. So let me know down below. Okay, one note that I made to myself is that I really need to work on having distractionless study days, because I need for my mind to not wander for 90 minutes. I need to do more like Pomodoro study sessions. I do use the Pomodoro method when studying with you all live during the community time. So if you guys want to join me every Wednesday at 7, I do a live study with me video here on my YouTube channel. So definitely make sure you are subscribed if you're not already, and join me here on Wednesdays. I noticed that like at question 15, I would be on that question for so long, and I'm like, this question wasn't even that hard. I think my mind was just like, oh girl, you tired. And I could tell when I would get like tired after so many sections. And again, that goes with endurance, but also like you just have to be able to go hard for 90 minutes and not allow your mind to wander off and not get distracted. So I'm really going to practice that. So when it comes to time, this reminded me that you only have 30 minutes for lunch during the MCAT. So I also need to only take 30 minutes when studying. Most of the times I eat and I study at the same time, but if for any reason I'm like, okay, you know what, I want to take a quick break, that is fine, but only 30 minutes. Because again, I kind of have to train my mind to be able to be exhausted and only get a 30-minute break before having to go back at it. Speaking of having to figure it out, I also need to figure out the food. I was thirsty. The coffee with my breakfast in the morning time, that didn't work out. I don't want no stomach problems. Again, I don't know if it was my anxiety or if it was my food or if it was all the things together, but I did not feel well, and I don't want to not feel well during my exam. The last thing that I wrote here is just a reminder to myself that no discipline is fun while doing it. I have to lock in during each of these sections. Taking this specific practice exam was really difficult for me, and so like I said, I was kind of like wanting to cry and like, oh, maybe I should just avoid it and give up, or I don't know, like I was having a hard time, and I had to remind myself like, lock in. Like if you have to try for each section, for each question, for each passage, for each second. Like it's such a long fight, and honestly, this entire pre-med journey is a marathon, not a sprint, and that's equally apparent when studying for the MCAT. Every single section counts, so every single minute counts, so every single passage counts, so every single question counts, and not in a sense of where it's like, oh, get so anxious because every question counts, but like, don't just throw away questions and throw away sentences because you're like, okay, I'm tired, I'm ready for this passage to be over, it's boring, it's too hard, I don't understand it, like move on next. Like, no, fight for it. Like, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I like give up on myself because I'm like, I just don't got it. It like, if I had it, it would come to me. It ain't here, so I'm just gonna give up, and I'm really gonna try and fight for each question and each section during each passage, no matter how difficult it is, because again, every question counts. Y'all, we've got a long way to go. I hope y'all are praying for me. I have a lot of work to do, and I'm very sad, and I honestly want to quit. I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish it was already over. I wish it was March, do something more fun with my life. I wish that I could just get the score on the exam that I want, and I could apply to medical schools and they would all love me because it's like, oh my gosh, you did something. But it's like, I have to show up for myself every day and put in the work, because those things are not just going to happen. I have to work for them. So, hey y'all, happy Saturday. I'm on my way to I was gonna say the library. I'm on my way to the coffee shop. I do plan on, of course, reviewing my exam today. But first, I'm going to go to like a church group. I told you all how it is a 2025 goal of mine this year to increase my faith community. And one of my good friends, Jasmine, she is like hosting a small group at her church, and it's like available to anybody. And they meet every Saturday from 10 to 11:30 in Virginia. So it's a bit of a commitment because on Saturdays I should be reviewing my exams, but I will say that I am so sad and down today that I probably wouldn't have been out of the bed yet if I didn't have to get up and get ready for this meeting. So I think that it's good. It's going to get me up and out every day regardless of what the Friday before when I take my pre-med exams looks like. But yeah, I'm super sad today. I just watched a whole bunch of Grey's Anatomy yesterday. Season 2 is getting really good, by the way. Season 2 is definitely getting good. I'm like, okay, this is I see what people were talking about. But I'm just sad, and I'm trying to be very careful with my words when I'm speaking over my life. But after the results from yesterday's full length, dropping 7 points from my highest score, I really feel like my hope is waning. Like, I feel like I was very hopeful before studying for the exam, before sitting for the test, and then the test, for lack of better words, it humbled me. I was like, oh yeah, this is why I think it's so hard. This is why I keep giving up and procrastinating and wanting to do other things instead, because this does not feel good to practice every single day, to constantly be getting bad scores, to feel like you're getting punched in the gut, and to keep having to show up for yourself when you're not seeing the results, and then putting yourself out there. Like, it's just a lot. And for lack of better words, like, I don't even know if stressed is the word. I'm like, I do feel stressed. I feel pressured. I just don't feel good. And it's like, I want to stop. Like, I want to quit. I've never more in my life wanted to quit and be like, I don't even want to do this. Like, I just want to find another way. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to force my body and my mind to show up even when like my heart doesn't want to. And so we're gonna go to today's like Bible study small group, and then we're gonna sit at the coffee shop, review our exam, and then hopefully learn from our mistakes. That way next time I take a full-length exam in 2 weeks, I'll see some improvement, things will be better. We'll be on our way to scoring high on the MCAT so we can get accepted into medical school. Back now, obviously I didn't vlog because I was meeting people, like new people for the first time, but I'm really happy that I went. It was a really great time. We just kind of did like a icebreaker, but I'm really excited for what that community is going to be. There's a lot of, I know people, and then I'm meeting new people, and it's obviously like faith-based and Christian-centered. So I'm excited to have like new relationships with people who are walking in their journeys with Christ. And the particular group that we are in is called like Blooming and Boundaries, or Boundaries and Bloom. I forget which one, but it's about boundaries, which I'm, like I said, mainly doing because my friend is hosting it, but I'm really enjoying the conversations and just like the natural chemistry that the group has. So I'm excited. And then also one of the members of the group was telling me about this other group that the church has called Grey's Anatomy, and it's basically for all different people like in the healthcare professional field. And so I'm also going to join that group, and that one is virtual. I'm all the way over here by George Mason University, y'all. I'm like, damn, and it is. So I'm also excited to join that group, and again, just to have some more community, because studying day in and day out by myself, and even when I go to church, you know, I don't really have many friends at my church. So I'm excited to have some community during this time, because even when I was sharing like my peaks and valleys, I was like, I just feel like my whole week has been a valley. A lot of the other women are also studying for different things, whether it be in law school and nursing school for CPA licenseship, and I was kind of just like, oh my gosh, like I just feel much better, because I was very sad this morning. So it was also a really nice coffee shop. I decided to leave out and come to a library. I'm guessing this is the library, yeah, because I'm totally on George Mason's campus. I just looked up the closest one, so hopefully it's not too difficult to get inside. Miss the days when I could just ride my bike to the library, and I did not take those days for granted. When I could do that, I literally did it every single day. I loved it. Hopefully I can get in here, and if so, I will vlog when I get to studying. See you guys in a little bit.
That you experience drastic changes by implementing small changes and maintaining those small changes consistently over a period of time, then your consistency compounds. And you look up and you step into a season of multiplication and you don't even know it. You look up and you got skill sets and you didn't even know you were this skilled. You look up and you done messed around and got good at something and you don't even know how you got good. You look up and you've messed around and you've got stronger and you don't even know where this strength came from. It was a exponential experience.
Okay, great news. Kaplan has a practice test explainer resource. So I believe that there are videos where teachers will break down each passage for each section and kind of walk you through how you were supposed to answer it, which is extremely helpful. And I don't feel like they had this last time I used Kaplan. And so I'm really excited, because I think it's going to make reviewing these practice exams easier, because it's going to be similar to when I did the integrative MCAT tutoring program. They had something similar where the next day after you did a full-length exam, there would be these different like module classes or like small groups that you could sign up for, where somebody would be going over the practice exam with you, and it's just much easier to do it that way than to do it by yourself. Of course, if there are specific questions that you know that you got wrong and you don't know, that information, you can pause it and like go do your own thing. But I think this is going to be super helpful, and I'm feeling a little bit better about actually reviewing my practice exam, knowing that I now have this resource.
Because consistency compounds. And those who understand and embrace this principle understand that I may not be able to change my destination overnight, but I can change my direction. I can't change my spiritual state tomorrow, but I can change my spiritual disciplines today. And if I change my spiritual disciplines today, it's going to change my spiritual state one day. Can't change my relationship overnight, but we can change the way we start treating each other today. And if we change the way we start treating each other today, it's gonna change our relationship tomorrow. I can't change my body overnight, but I can change what I'm putting in it today. And if I start changing what I'm putting in it and keep it up consistently, I'll look up and it'll change my body. It's the compound effect. And when the devil can't stop you and I from doing the right thing, his next step is to try to get us to do the right thing the wrong way. If he can't keep you, Numbers 13, with a grasshopper mentality where you're small-minded, what he will do is, when he can't stop you from wanting to do big things, he'll try to get you and I to do big things the wrong way. And you don't do big things trying to do big things. You do big things by doing small things consistently over a period of time, and that gives you the capability. When we are ignorant of Satan's devices, he has an advantage over us. So some of us are looking for him in big things, and you don't see the warfare in small things. We don't see that our struggle with consistency is an indication of warfare, that the enemy is fighting you in areas you don't even call the enemy. You just think it's a habit. You just think it's a hang-up. You just think it's an issue. And I'm not trying to over-spiritualize it, but it's a devil who doesn't want you to be consistent. So he fights you tooth and nail because he knows if you ever get consistent,
y'all, it's 5:30. I got here at like 12. It's taken, I'm on question 38. I know it should take you a long time to review your stuff, but I at least hoped I could get through 2 sections before the library closed at 6. I'm on 38 of 59. So I'm not even, I'm more than halfway through one section. I'm kind of picking up speed as I'm getting the flow of things, but I gotta pack up, head home. I think I'm just gonna, I don't want to say pull an all-nighter because like, relax, but I really want to stay on my Kaplan schedule for next week, and you're supposed to have like 1 full day to go over your exam. And if I put some of this off, because tomorrow is Sunday, which is my off day, if I put some of this off until Monday, first of all, it'll be multiple days in between, so I won't remember as much, and then my whole schedule will be shifted. So I think I'm gonna like just lock in, go back home tonight, and literally try and get all of the sections done tonight, which is going to be a lot if it's taking me this long for one section. But like I said, I am very grateful. In practice test explainers, I literally feel like I was just trying to warm up a little bit, kind of procrastinating before I started reviewing, and they always have like some of these stupid little modules that you can watch, and it'll be like, oh, like, how did you do after your practice exam? You're not feeling so great, are you? Blah, 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 blah. And like, some of it I feel like is not necessary, so I don't be clicking on them. I just move on because I got other modules that actually have content in them. And literally, I was just watching the module to make sure all my stuff was set up, and it was like, yeah, so we have this tool called the Practice Test Explainer, and I was like, has it always been here? I literally did not have this last time I studied for the MCAT. There's definitely some changes that Kaplan has this time versus last time, like some small ones. Like there's this thing called Kaplan AI. Is it Kane? Kai? I think it's something like that, where it's really helpful because let's just say it gives you an explanation to a question that you got wrong, and their explanation doesn't make sense to you. You can literally just ask it, just like it's like ChatGPT, but like specifically already there, so you don't have to like copy and paste the question and da da da. You can just be like, explain this like a kindergartner, or tell me how to do the math, or whatever it is. And I was like, oh my gosh, like just that little feature makes this Kaplan stuff even better. So I'm glad that they're constantly like adding things to it, and like I said, making it better. I don't think this is a new addition. I think they've always had this, and then I literally just didn't know that it was available last time I studied, which means that I was struggling even more during my practice reviews, which is unfortunate because that means I wasn't getting the most out of my reviews. I wasn't getting the most out of my Kaplan Access. So this is taking a very long time, hoping that they will yield some great results. I like this library. It's very quiet. There's nobody up in here. It's also Saturday, and I know how it was. Like when I was in college, I wouldn't be in the library. I mean, sometimes, but you know, if they don't have midterms or finals, I wouldn't be in the library on a Saturday. I was in grad school, but not in undergrad. As long as my car is still there, because I did park it on the side of the street, I will definitely come here after the church group every Saturday to review my exams moving forward. All right, let's go home and continue working. I just finished my review for the chem phys section. It's 9 o'clock. I'm about to start cars now, but I think every car's passage has a video, so it should go faster. Pray God. Alright y'all, I just finished my car's review. It's 11:12. I'm tired. I gotta call it a night. I gotta go to sleep. I have to wake up early tomorrow for church, so unfortunately, we'll have to continue this tomorrow. The work continues. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Make sure you ring the bell so you don't miss a notification from me. And follow me on my social media at Brelynn.hunt. Join the community group chat on Instagram. Also, some of you guys have been asking how you can support my journey. Buy me a coffee. You can use the QR code over here, donate a couple of dollars, and it will literally make my day, literally make my entire study week. No pressure, but I know a lot of you all have asked, especially because this process is so expensive. And I really appreciate anybody who wants to sow a seed into this ministry that is vulnerability during my MCAT journey. Make sure to live each day to the fullest because you only live once, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.